Good morning or good evening, wherever you are in the world. Let's look at the markets. As typical, we won't spend too much time on a lesson here. We'll dive right in and identify market turning points and market moves using our core strategy where we focus on identifying, again, key supply and demand points in the markets. All right? Remember those two questions. That's what we always focus on. Where will prices turn and where will they move? To identify that, we need to find unfilled orders, pockets of unfilled orders, supply and demand, because that's what causes prices to turn. And filled orders facilitate price movement. So we want to identify those two pictures on the chart. Now I have a whole list of markets over here on the left, but I am here I can run through that list, or if you have markets you want me to look at, just let me know. All right. So again, if you have opportunities you're looking at, markets you want to look at, just type them in the chat. We'll get to them. Otherwise, I can run through my list, which will be a combination of futures and forex markets. To kick things off, either you're thinking about it or you just don't have markets. Either one is fine. To kick things off, let's take a look at the dollar chart right over here in the upper left corner. Okay, so you can see the dollar is moving higher and really doesn't have anything any significant supply until it's just a touch higher. Well, a little more than a touch higher. We're looking at a daily chart. So watch this area over here. And then, of course, we look at, well, I think that's pretty much all we need to look at. This level here lines up with let me just put this on a weekly chart. It's important to know where all these levels are in the dollar. So when you look at the weekly chart of the dollar, this is where we have this level coming up right here. And then another area of supply above it. But these are the two key turning points up here. So if the dollar gets up there, we can certainly trade the dollar and short it. This level, great level, scores out very high using our odds enhancer scoring system. And then of course we can look for demand zones in markets like the euro, yen, Aussie dollar, Canadian, and all those. Make sense? So keep this level in mind. This is 90, about 95.60. Got it? Yeah, we can look at the euro next. And let's look at the spot euro. This level right up in here. I'll show you. Okay. So obviously with the dollar rallying, the euro is falling. And if we come down to, let's go right down to the 4-hour chart here. You can see, we just talked about the dollar hitting supply, but remember, it has a little ways to go, or quite a ways to go before it gets there, right? So we do have some supply above in the euro. We can capture the rest of that. We can capture more of that dollar rally in the euro going down. So let's go do that. And take a look at the weekly real quick, and then I'll come down to a smaller time frame for the euro. Here's what we have in the euro when you look at the weekly chart. So, and again, where the dollar just rallied out of that little area, obviously the euro is falling out of this area. So any quick, reversals in the dollar or the euro are very tradable. So you now have a profit zone to the downside, just like in the dollar up here in the left corner, you have a profit zone to the upside. So again, when we talked about unfilled orders and prices moving earlier, we already know this space is available for prices to move through because it's just done it. Nothing to stop it. So what we do is this area right here. Okay, so watch out. These are very tradable levels, very tradable areas. And if you have your, if you look at your daily or weekly chart of the euro or the dollar, um, make sure you have these levels on the chart. Price is very likely to turn at those areas. Yeah, that's that 115 that I'm just putting in here. It's actually a little bit below 115. Got it? Okay. So that's, bigger picture stuff. But we don't, it's not often that we're offered that kind of bigger picture opportunity, right? And with the dollar moving like it is, it's just, the opportunity's all over the place. It's great. You're on the small time frames. Honestly, we're going to look at other currencies that are probably going to offer us better opportunities. So that's the bigger picture there. Why don't we go over to the Aussie dollar? And let's mix it up a little bit. Let's look at the futures. Okay. And you can see the Aussie dollar here. If you look at the weekly chart, it's just coming into that level now. And there, when you go to a smaller time frame with the dollar, it is hitting a little area. See right in here? That's the weekly chart. But on a smaller time frame, you're hitting a little area. So you're likely to get a little bounce soon in here in the Aussie dollar. So keep that in mind. I just want to go right to where the opportunities are. Not a huge profit zone on the upside, but this is one of the currencies that has opportunity right in front of us. But we'll see. Be nice if the Aussie dollar made a new low. So this low that came in right here, late yesterday, if we could go down and make a new low into that area, you're likely to see a bounce. But we'll get to some short-term stuff. Don't worry. Let's take a quick peek at the Canadian dollar. It is also entering a demand zone. It's just touching the upper part of it. So if you're a short-term trader, this is not something you want to jump into right here. But a little bit lower looks fine. And as the dollar, let me give you another scenario, right? We see that we talk about dollar supply, but don't forget we now have dollar demand below. And if you're a fan of trading the Canadian dollar, fantastic opportunity right here. I'll show you. Right up in here is the dollar, top of the dollar demand, which lines up with this Canadian supply, which when you look at our supply and demand rules and odds enhancers and all that, this area looks outstanding. Make sense? But again, we need, it looks like this level's far away, but remember, it was just up here 1 week ago. So that can, I think you get the point. Yeah, we'll take a look at the Euro futures in a minute. All right, so keep that area on your chart. Again, really nice supply level. Well positioned on the supply demand curve. Nice big profit zone. And what would get prices to turn back and get up to that level? This area of demand right down here. Yeah, let's go to the Euro futures and we'll look at that. We'll look at that level you're pointing out. 118.40. Yeah, 118.40 is okay, but there's other areas that'll come up before that. So, for example, right here, 117.25. The 118.40 is fine, but there's plenty of other levels as you go down to the smaller time frames that are good, plenty good. Let me go down one more time frame. Okay. So to find these levels, we go up the supply demand. We go up the price ladder here, and the two levels we have that we'd be very, very interested in shorting at, at least I would. This area right here. And we're going to use our very specific rules to put these lines in. So that's one level of supply, and here's the other one sitting above it. Both very nice levels that, again, score out very high using our odds enhancer scoring system. So that. And there's that. Make sense? So we're now down to like a 15-minute chart, which is fine. You'll see both these levels on a 30-minute chart or something bigger. But we go to smaller time frames. Not up at supply, no. So remember, if the euro goes up to those levels, the dollar will be right down into demand, and the dollar will have plenty of room to move up to that daily supply level. Right? It's all about finding those pockets of opportunity and then properly managing risk. Make sense? All right, let's get this chart up to a. Well, let me just show you that. I'll show you the bigger picture. Okay, so that's where those levels are. Remember too, if we're going to short the euro, say up here, right? We have supply up here, so we feel fine about prices turning. But the other question is where price is going to go. Are prices going to drop enough? In other words, is there a big enough profit zone? Well, how can we assess that now? Like, is there demand below these levels? Well, we know where demand is not, right? Look where prices are right now. Is there any demand above where prices are right now? Can there be even? Is it even possible that there's unfilled buy orders sitting above current price? No, right? See what I'm saying? So you already have, these levels already have a, 5, 6, 7, maybe even 8 to 1 profit zone with them. Probably more like 6, 7 to 1. All right, let's take a look at the BP, pound, and we'll stick to the futures for a little bit. But again, if you have a spot market you want me to look at, no problem. And any of these markets we look at, really, even as we get outside of the Forex markets, you have to keep that dollar in mind. Dollar chart. Okay. Looking at the pound here, there's not a whole lot to look at. There was a little area here. Let me make this a 60-minute chart. I'll clean things up for you a little bit. Okay. So again, this is going to be very similar to the euro that we just looked at. If you get a rally out of this level, the only area on the chart that we'd be really interested in It's this one. I think you get the point. Okay. Let's try one more time. Anyway, I think you get the point. Line's not working for me. Yeah, right here. Okay. Great level. And remember, even though the pound is, $6.25, $6.25 a tick, just, it's a little misleading because this thing can really move. If you're looking at the pound futures. Okay. And yeah, we'll go to that in a minute. Watch this demand below too, because we really didn't. We may have an opportunity here. I know this isn't a fresh level because we just came down there just a few hours ago, but we didn't really go too deep into the level, and obviously that's because there's so much demand there. See that? I think a lot of people think that it's a set rule that once you touch a level, you don't use it again. That's okay, but the better way to think about it, the more objective way to think about it, is by focusing on the actual supply and demand in the level. So the fact that prices just touch this level in turn tell us there is quite a bit of demand in that level. So a new low into that area, you're very likely to get a move up to the 131.50. But again, this is not a quality level. This would never score out high with our odds enhancers. This level up here would, though. So you'd want to target somewhere before this, or take the 3-to-1 opportunity up to 131.50. Make sense? We'll try that level one more time, and that way we can keep it in the chart for next time. This level just doesn't want to go in. All right, forget it. All right, let's go on. Next market. And again, if you have one you want me to look at, just let me know. The daily demand. Yeah, let's look at that. The only demand that we see on the daily is actually below 130, and it may be the level you're talking about. This area right here. That's very likely where prices are headed. Especially if the dollar up here in the left corner makes one more push up to that supply zone. Okay. So, yeah, let's go to gold. Gold is certainly on the list, near the top of the list. So let's look. Whoops. I'll move the chat window here. All right. So you look at gold in the weekly. We came down to this big demand zone. Nice bounce. Now we're back in it. I mean, this is not a big quality area just because of all the activity to the left. But as we come down to the smaller time frames, and you can see that here with the daily. Right? There's really not much in here. But what we have now is some supply above. And I'm not going to mention names, but a pretty well-known kind of trader, advisor, who has been kind of consistently wrong in gold for years. Just heard him the other day saying how he's buying gold again. So that's kind of and he doesn't look at charts or anything. So when that happens, I usually go look for supply, right? Yeah, you talking about this level right here? 1330. You're saying. I think you're saying higher, or maybe we're talking about the same level. I mean, you have like two big areas on top of each other. And the meat of this level really starts right here. Now, when we compare what we're looking at here on the supply side with the demand or lack of demand below, it's a pretty clear picture. Okay, take a look at, right, so we have two clusters of supply sitting just above. This area that gold is in now, been here multiple times, so there's not likely to be much demand left. And then you look below that, you really don't have much until you get back down to this area down here. Now, this is a daily chart of gold, so no one's expecting any of this overnight. Okay. But something to think about. I think here's the 113.30 you're looking at. I'm sorry, the 1330. Yeah, it's a great area, but so are these. So I don't know that we're going to get back up here anytime soon. If we do, great. Massive profit zone with that supply level. But, all right. So let's take a look at the, let's go to the yen. I don't know that there's I don't know if this opportunity is still here, but let's take a look. No, never mind, it's not. Okay, let me go. Let's go. Let's take a look at the S&P. The S&P has almost got there. So when we look at the S&P, and I'll leave you with this one. So you're not going to see it on any of these time frames. But if we come down to, does anybody here trade the S&P futures? All right. I'll leave you with this one, which should be a really good one. So I'm going to put a horizontal line across current price. It's ready to short this last night, but it just didn't hit. Which again tells me probably a pretty good area. My order was actually at 71, so barely missed it. And let me, I can clean this up for you so we don't have to scrunch so much. There it is. So we've got this area here. An ideal order would be like a 71.50 entry with a stop at 76.50. Okay, so about 5 points of risk. I'm just combining, 2 or 3 areas here in the S&P. So that would be shorting the market at 71.50 with a stop at 76.50, and then you have a really a nice big target below. Let's go back over here to see that. If you're looking to take that all the way back down, back down into the 40s, upper 40s. Maybe 48, 49. So this is one of those where kind of low risk, really big reward. Odds may not be, huge that you get that, that you risk 5 points to make, 10, 20, 30. I'm sorry, 20 or 30 points, but the opportunity is available here, and those are the types of trades that I like to take. Does that make sense? And I say that, but the reality is, for me, most of the time, those opportunities do work out pretty well. Um, all right. Hopefully that was helpful. Here's my email address, sseiden@tradingacademy.com. You can you can always email me if you have any questions. And next time we'll follow up on this S&P trade and some of the other ones we took. All right. Well, have a great day, everyone, and we'll see you next time. You can always send me a chart, too, if you need to.